we'll start with a hail call. And this is when you see ducks way out in the distance. I don't know because I'm not a duck, but they say that ducks only hear certain high notes way out. And so in a nice big open area, a cornfield or a wide river bottom with no echo, you'd want to use this call. This is for ducks way out. It's just to get their attention. If ducks are circling close to you, you don't want to use this call. You'll use different calls. So if a duck's way out, let's say 100 yards way out, you'd want to, it's called a hail call. It's just to get their attention. When the ducks start to circle, I always like to use a feeding chatter, a feeding chuckle, and basically what I try to do with that is I try to say the word paducah, 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 and it's kind of a stammer stutter thing. So you're going. So that's what you're trying to do, and that's how ducks sound when they're on the water and they're feeding. A lot of guys do a feeding chuckle. They'll do this. They'll go. Ducks only do that when they're flying overhead. That's the only time I've ever heard, and according to a lot of my friends, that's the only time they've ever heard ducks make that noise. The feeding chuckle on the water is. And you'll see I'm moving my hand. That's just to kind of vary the tone a little bit. Never call the ducks when they're coming right at you. Let them come. If they're going to come, let them come. Don't call them. Only call at tail feathers and wingtips. If you have your decoy spread out on the end, and I don't like to take a shot farther than 40 yards, I put my furthest decoy at 35 yards. The ducks, when they're coming in, tend to have a tendency to land on that very end decoy. If they're coming down, they're starting to do the back pedal like they're landing. We got the comeback call. Now, that's also the call that you call at the wingtips and tail feathers, too. The comeback call will a lot of times get them to lift up and come a little closer. It's usually an 8-note spread. Whack, 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 whack. So they're coming in, they're starting to sit down, you want them to get up and move a little closer. There's also the contented hen quack. Sometimes, yeah, I hear you. Sometimes there's two kinds of quacks, and a nice soft, that's fine. That's called the contented hen. Little subtle difference here to the alarm hen, which is the hen that's barking, and that makes all the rest of the flock start looking around. That's a short, crisp. That means there's something wrong. That will cause all the ducks in the flock to start looking around. They'll get real giddy, like they want to take off. So your contented hen, your alarmed hen. This is a drake whistle. They come in a little shorter form too. I like this. If you're ever in an area like a river bottom that has a heavy echo, or it's late in the season and you're in an area that's kind of close in, you don't want to, the last thing you want to do is bark at them with one of these, because it's so loud and it scares them, particularly in a place where there's a lot of echo. I like to use these drake whistles because it's nice and soft and slow, and all the other duck hunters in the world are yakking at them with mallard calls. They don't hear a lot of these. I've shot a lot of ducks with this call. I've used it a lot. It's brought in a lot of birds. Sometimes when they get skittish towards the end of the season, this is a good one. It's just a whistle, but if you breathe down and kind of hum into it, you get the sound that a greenhead, a mallard drake makes, and it goes. And you just want a nice, soft, slow cadence. If you have a buddy and you're doing the chuckle call, like this, and you have a buddy that can do this, a lot of ducks will pay attention to you. Put some birds on the water that way. I'll just do kind of a routine, and what I'll do is, I see the ducks way out, they're coming towards me, I'll chuckle them, I'll feed call them. They're going to go away. They're going to fly away. I'm going to hit the comeback. I'm going to feed again. I'm going to feed and give them the contented hen, and I might throw in a drake whistle at the end.